am Shanice with Klazzy Kre8tions and now Klazzy Kre8tions Production Company. In this video, I want to talk about why I thought it would be a great idea, especially during the pandemic, to expand Klazzy Kre8tions and add another aspect to it in another department, which is our Klazzy Kre8tions Production Company. So I wanted to kind of share my vision with you and share my why and why I have such a passion for this, and give you a little history on Klazzy Kre8tions. So I started Klazzy Kre8tions back on March 3rd, 2009. We originally started as a company. I had a business partner where we did greeting cards. We made handmade greeting cards. We wrote the inside. My business partner and I went to college together. We were both creative writers, and so I actually like to design too. We had a little bit of graphic design. So it gave me an opportunity to do something that I loved. As the greeting card industry kind of fluctuated and people moved more so towards electronic types of cards, then my business, we dove into many different products and services. Some of the examples are t-shirts. We do t-shirts, we do masks, tutus, handmade jewelry, invitations, logos. Those are just some of the things that we've done. Sometimes I've met with some customers and do a little bit of marketing, brand management for them, because I have a master's degree in marketing. So my undergrad degree is in writing and design, and my master's degree is in marketing. And so that's just a little bit about Klazzy Kre8tions. And so I've been running Klazzy Kre8tions since March 3rd, 2009. Every couple years we add different things and we take away some things. So fast forward to January 2020. I was on a show that airs on A&E called 60 Days In. Now, it still feels weird to say that I was a part of that show, because I've always been a fan of the show. But when I would watch it, I would think, what crazy person will volunteer? Because that's what you do on 60 Days In, is you volunteer to go to jail. So I always would say these people have to be really crazy. And then I ended up being one of the crazy people for season 6. But I got to share this story because this situation is what prompted me to start Klazzy Kre8tions Production Company. So I have celiac disease, which means that I'm allergic to anything that has gluten, wheat, rye, barley, oats, all that stuff. I can't have it. My body's intolerant to it. It's more than an allergy, it's an autoimmune disease. But sometimes when I describe it to people, because a lot of people don't know what an autoimmune disease is, which is we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. So I'll tell them it's a food intolerance. My body can't tolerate those things. And so, of course, you know, it would be a great idea to volunteer to go to a place that I know feeds people bread and water and a lot of carbs. But I did a lot of research about people that have gone to jail that had celiac disease. I have another video on my YouTube page about a gentleman that's actually suing. I want to say he was in Seattle, maybe Washington, and he was in jail. He was actually put there because he was suicidal. He told me that he had celiac disease. They would not honor his request. He even provided documentation. And so it was a huge sacrifice to do a show like that. And the reason why I did it is because I wanted to bring awareness, not only to celiac disease, but any health issues. What happens if you go to jail? I wanted to bring awareness, and I wanted people to think. I wanted to bring a change not only to the jail that I was in, which was located in Gadsden, Alabama, called Etowah County Detention Center. I wanted to bring awareness to other county jails, other prisons, that, hey, this is something that we might need to look into. So that's why I did it. I wanted to do it because my story was so unique, and I felt like I gave another production company such a unique opportunity to do something with this story and to educate, to empower, to enlighten people, and make people say, wow, I never thought about that. But that didn't happen. Instead of concentrating on the educational part and showing what celiac is, how it affects people, how the jail deals with it, they instead concentrated on a few days of my first few days of being in jail, when I did not have food. I did not have access to gluten-free food. And they painted me in a light to make me look like a chronic complainer, which is so far from the truth. If people really knew the stuff that I have going on, which we'll talk about a little bit later, you'll understand why that was so heartbreaking for me, because it is so far from the truth. I don't like excuses. I don't care. If I'm sick, I'll go and do stuff. I don't make excuses. I don't use my health. So it really frustrated me. And so I started making my own YouTube videos and responding to people's questions, because people had a lot of questions. Did Shanice tell them that she had celiac before she went into jail? Did she do this? None of that was addressed. And so I put out a video and I called out the production team, and I called out the television show, the network, whatever, for a lot of things that I noticed that some were very racially biased, and a lot of things, some things were brought to their attention by previous participants, but a lot of things they were, seemed to be very perplexed, but enlightened that I brought it to their attention, and they were able to connect the dots to see why I said what I said. I had multiple meetings with this production company. This is a production company that does not have anyone of color on their production team. Like let me be clear, on the side of the production that makes the decision making, that does the editing, that does the important stuff. There's nobody of color. So I started hearing other shows, reality shows, documentaries, docuseries, kind of saying the same thing, that their story wasn't properly told. It was an opportunity to educate, and the network or the production company used it as an opportunity to entertain, because of course that's what we want to see when we watch TV. So I started thinking, I'm investing in this other production company to try to make them become a better, more well-rounded production company. We'll leave it at that. I gave them an opportunity to tell my story, which is a very important story, because celiac disease affects every 1 in every 100 people. So when you think about a jail or a prison system, think about how many people in there potentially have celiac and know it, and how many people in there potentially have celiac and don't know it, and they don't know why they're continuing to get sick by eating the foods that the criminal justice system often serves inmates. I did not want my time in jail to be a wasted experience. I wanted to shed light, more light, on things that people like myself with autoimmune diseases or food allergies and intolerances, things that you wouldn't even think about if it's something that doesn't affect you or your family, friends, or loved ones. Then I thought about, I love watching a lot of shows, but I call it my ratchet TV. And I thought about how growing up, I loved watching shows like, and I'm not talking about Bill Cosby, I'm talking about The Cosby Show, because I'm going to talk about Felicia Rashad, and shows like Different World, where their characters on TV were positive. It was positive, educated, professional black people on TV doing great things. They weren't half naked. They weren't shaking their butts. It was just good old-fashioned, good TV. And I said, well, you've been writing for over 30 years. You wrote your first screenplay 11 years ago. Okay. You've been directing different theatrical productions for over 20 years. Okay. You've been an actress from theater to short films to commercials to reality / docuseries to game show. You have the experience. Tell stories that people need to hear, that maybe they don't even know that they need to hear it. And so when I came up with that idea, I wrote my first feature film, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. And I had a table read, and the table read gave me chills. It was just, it felt so good to just hear people hear them read your work and interpret your work and see how they visually do it. Of course, it was on Zoom because it's during the pandemic, but then they started asking questions. Well, how are you going to do this? Are you going to do this? Are you going to actually film it? Then I started thinking about, I want to do a documentary. And I'm not going to say the name of it because I want to kind of save that, but I want to do not even really a documentary. I want to do a docu-series about people like me. Because being on several Facebook groups, having celiac disease, and while I was in jail trying to make a difference, I started having the health issues associated with Graves' disease. My feet swole up really big. They were very swollen. I had heart palpitations. I just had a lot of health issues that were brought on by the poor nutrition at the jail. So I just thought about it and I said, you know, it's time to tell stories. And so since then, I have written one feature film, 2 short films, and I start working on my documentary, or docu-series, I'll say. Because it started off as a documentary, then I start kind of thinking about it and talking to people, and I said, if I really want to educate, I need to educate on more than one subject and more than one area, so let's make it a complete docu-series. So the docu-series, that is going to be one of the first things that we are looking for funding for. We are looking at, for the docu-series, it's going to be a 5 1-hour-long episodes. And I'll just kind of leave it at that for now. Once we start getting together our videos and our for funding and our grants, I'll be able to share a little bit more with you. But as a writer, as a director, as an actress, as an educator, I was like, this is just perfect. The one area that I don't have any experience in is the producing side, as far as the really hands-on part. You know, I can hire a DP, cinematographer, the different crew. Is producing. I've never been a producer. And so it's funny how God places people in your life. So met a young lady in acting class, and we bonded. Then I found out she was my sorority sister. And then I found out that she was a producer and had experience in that. And that's something that I think I want to learn, but I think if I don't learn it, I might be okay, because I don't have to do everything. I can hire a team of people to do the things. I want to know a little bit about a lot. I don't have to know a lot about a little. So I met her, and she had started talking about starting a production company. Different target market, different target audience, different, but just that's something she wanted to do. And so when creative people get together, it's amazing how creative things can just come from that. So I actually met with her to kind of give her, because I've had my business for over 10 years at the point when I met with her, and just giving her some basic branding, marketing, sales, website design, all of that stuff, just talking about all of those types of things. And so I told her, I said, I want to collaborate with you. So if you look on my website, if you're on my website, if you look below, if you're on YouTube, you'll have to go to my website, which I will have the link in the video. But you'll be able to learn a little bit more about her and me, and why I think that it would be a great collaboration. So I just wanted to spend a couple moments and tell you why I wanted to start Klazzy Kre8tions Production Company, because I am going to start asking for your support. We need investors. We are working on investor packages as we speak. We are working on some different campaigns. We've already applied for several grants, but I'm working on applying for some more grants. But I wanted to share my story and let people know why you should invest in Klazzy Kre8tions Production Company, and let you know the types of products that we are working on. I will tell you that my feature film that I wrote is very, 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 very loosely about my life. It's basically about a young lady like myself that was misdiagnosed her entire life with her stomach issues, and later finds out that she has celiac disease. And so I kind of walk you through that journey. And when I say loosely, it's some of the places where my mind was when I was going through that process initially, but there's a lot of things that just didn't happen. That's just my creative thoughts that occur. And then the short film is, I'm an educator, and I've worked with at-risk youth for the last 10 years, and I met some amazing students. And it is about a student relationship, a student-teacher relationship 5 years after the student graduates. So it talks about, I don't want to give too much away, so I'll just keep it at that. But it's a very, very unique story, especially when you're talking about millennials now, because a lot of them can be selfish. Sorry, y'all, I love y'all, but y'all can be selfish. So it's a very heartfelt drama. It has some comedy moments in it too, so we'll just leave it at that. So those are our first 3 projects. We have the 5-part docu-series that we're working on, that I'll give you more information later. We have the feature film that we're working on that is loosely based off of my life, about a young lady that has celiac disease. And then we have the short film that we're working on. Now I do have another short film that I'm working on, but that's through my friend's production company. So the stuff that I'm talking about now are the projects that my production company is leading, and we're bringing her in and her expertise and her connections of people in the industry, because I'm new to the Atlanta area. And so I felt that it would be very important to connect with someone that has the same drive as me, and we think alike, or not necessarily alike, but we have a like mind as far as we have a goal, we set it, and we achieve it by any means necessary. So I wanted to bring her in. So if you're on my website, again, look down below and you'll learn a little bit more about her and what she has to bring to the table. And make sure you keep up with the YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video so you can keep up with the projects and learn more about the projects, when we'll be casting for the projects, when we'll be looking for crew for the projects, when we gonna need y'all money for the projects. Just stay tuned. So thank you so much, and you guys have a blessed day and week, month, and the rest of the year. Bye.